How's it going, everyone? It's Ken and Brad from Pixelated Thoughts, and we are going to talk about the Sons of the Forest. Brad has played a little bit of the game, a couple hours into it, and he's going to tell me right now whether or not Sons of the Forest is going to be worth my
Yes.
time. All right, roll credits. We're done with the video. It's over. So, Brad, getting into it, what is the biggest difference between Sons of the Forest and the Forest?
Um, so so in this one, so in Sons of Forest, uh there's the offspring of the actual forest instead of the forest itself. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. No, I would say the biggest thing is really just the atmosphere itself, right? There's the first one. It was very, I'm going to say primitive.
Mhm.
They're both primitive, but there's a technology aspect. Like, you find weapons or you find like firearms. You have a digital map. Um, you have like a GPS map. You have a radio from the start. So, or I think you had a radio in the start in the beginning. But there's just a feeling of like it's like you were sent here, right? Obviously, you crashed on the island, but it was like you were prepared to be here. In the first one, it was just you're just a random person, and your commercial plane crashes on the island.
And you were looking for your son, too, in the first game.
Yes, but not to start off with. You were with your son, and then the
Oh,
plane crash, and they steal your son, right? And this one, you're like a special ops, group looking for someone that has gone missing, right? So it's like you're actively going to the island. The first one, it was you're just an innocent bystander that, got roped into this cannibalistic nightmare.
and now you're more capable. You're far more capable, rather.
Yeah. So I do like the the building and crafting mechanics are much more organic. I'm not going to say they're better yet. There are definitely some early access vibes, feels that are
Right.
not just quite fleshed out.
And that's the thing I think
But
that we should point out is that the game is in early access. But I mean, from what I've seen, for $30, you are getting quite a lot of game.
well, it is the game, right? They've mentioned that you get the full story, you get the full map, right? There might be some features or some actual there might be changes, obviously, but the game itself is done.
Oh, really? That's pretty awesome. I mean, the biggest change I've seen so far in the gameplay footage that I was going over for you was you have NPC partners
Yeah.
like
So
Kelvin.
yeah, they really tout the new AI system, right? Like all of the cannibals, the companions, they all have kind of feelings and emotions that play into their actions, right? So Kelvin, right? He's deaf. He gets blown from the helicopter, and his eardrums get blown out. So you have to write him commands. You take a little notepad and like give him commands by writing stuff down. But if there's cannibals running around, he's not going to do whatever you ask him, right? He's going to hide or kind of whimper, or just go down. If he gets attacked,
I mean, that
because
would make sense,
he can
right?
still die. Yeah,
How could he defend himself in that situation?
right.
How would you say the AI interaction is? Is it like really solid? Like this is an impressive feat by them? Because I saw that like you guys were a couple of times like giving him like fish to get, and he would go fish. He would just run
Yeah.
around and just start throwing fish at your feet. But I did see that when you had asked him to complete a structure, there was like confusion, right?
Uh, yeah. I mean, he would add to it. So I mentioned the crafting was different. You can build the same way as in the first one, right? You can put down the blueprints and then just throw material at it. And when you do that, he does. He just finds the material to put onto the blueprint. But when you're doing the free mode or like the kind of more organic building,
Mhm.
that's new to this game. He is a little less sure about what to do,
Oh,
right?
really?
Because it's much more like freehand.
Okay. Would you say this is more user friendly than the first game?
I would say there's a larger learning curve,
Really?
right?
How
It's
so?
first off, like the crafting and building and stuff, right? It's not just you look at the book, find the blueprint, and and just put it down. Like you have to find the piece of wood. You have to cut the piece of wood. You might have to cut the piece of wood in half, um, like a plank, and then put it down, like to make stairs or something. Or or you have to find a certain piece of material, but you can't put down materials that are not supported, right? So you can't like attach a rope to a beam that's not there. And the other one, you just put all the material, you just put all the material how you want to into the build, and it just completes it. This one, it's like you have to put the floor down first, and then you put up the walls, and then you put up the ceiling or the roof,
So you have
right?
to
You
be
can't,
far more, you have to actually work for it this time. It feels like there's actually like it's like building an actual structure,
right?
right?
I would say the game's much more survival structured, right? It's not just we're fighting cannibals. We're like you're actually trying to survive in this harsh environment.
Which, by the way,
Um,
the cannibals in this game, I was noticing like with some of the AI, it felt like they didn't attack you on sight. You
well,
know?
okay, so I actually think they're much more aggressive. Now, it might have just been where we were at and we were, like walking up on their home base or whatever, but like they were relentless in coming up to us. In the first one, you usually start off with like the little crawler gray dudes. I don't know what they're actually called, but
Mhm.
like they don't have any weapons and they don't walk on 2 feet. They like kind of gallop.
Yeah, they're like the
Um,
hunters from Left 4 Dead.
yeah. So usually you find those people first, and they like they keep their distance, and they kind of like look at you from a distance, and they make like weird noises, and maybe at night that they come approach you.
Mhm.
But this one, it was just like all of them would just like literally just like walk up to our little camp and just start taking material. Like they would like steal a fish or grab a log and start dragging it away. And I'm like, you mother, like it. I do like the dynamic feel of it.
Right. Yeah, because like a
Um,
couple times I was watching the footage. It was about 2.5, 3 hours. I was like, wow, there's like the AI is kind of unique in the way they interact with you. Like they're kind of feeling you out, sort of, which I feel is something in the first game was like, yeah, I'm just gonna straight up lunge at you or something. This game is like they're
right.
moving around you. They're kind of they don't know if they're gonna attack, or they're looking like they're probably trying to get around to flank you or something. I thought that was really interesting because sometimes I saw like really aggressive AI, and other times I saw AI that just kind of stood
Right.
around. I was like, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Right. Yeah. So like typically if there's 4 or 5 of them, right? If they're not actively attacking you, but you attack them, then they all attack you, right? It's like they don't like a feeling or like a they're like I wonder what he's gonna do, and they kind of respond to how you're acting, right? So if you're aggressive, they're aggressive. If you're not aggressive, they probably won't be aggressive for a good while at least. I'm not gonna say they'll never be aggressive, but
That they will kill you.
um, I
I did see you guys get killed a few times.
yeah
And my favorite thing is that you just kind of get strung up, and then
yeah it's
it looks like you're not too far away though from where you had, gotten killed, or your camp, which I
right
think is
right.
is kind of a positive thing. Now, my question is, what things do you want to see added? Because I noticed that during the footage, you and Chris talked about there were some quality of life, like I guess
Yeah
updates or changes that weren't there that were originally there in the forest, or
yeah
features. So
yeah.
what
There's
is
the
that has that been problematic for you guys as you've been playing?
absolutely, especially with the combat. The hotbar system did not work at all, right? You could in the first one you would combine items, and or you would combine an item with your book bag, and that's how you like put it in a hotkey, like your axe or whatever.
Mhm.
Uh, and this one you can combine it with your book bag, but it doesn't do anything. Like there are no slots or anything. It's just you combine it with your book bag, and then it's on your book bag, and you can't like the buttons don't work,
Oh,
or
really?
the hotkey like the one like 1 through 6, right? It doesn't coordinate to anything.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Um, so it's like if you're chopping down trees, but then you start getting attacked, you have to go into your inventory and then select the item and then equip it, and then start fighting, and you're probably pretty much dead
Dead
at
by
that
that
point.
time. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. Or likely not to. I mean, so uh, it is an early access, but it is kind of strange that the developers omitted that feature, because you'd think that you'd have
yeah.
hotkeys and just kind of
I
carry a lot of stuff over, which made the forest successful, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping it was just something that was like an oversight, like it's broken versus missing, right? And you know that they fix it shortly, which they said that this early access will not be near like the first one. They said it was like 6 to 8 months.
Right, which is pretty
Um,
impressive, you know.
yeah, because
Um,
the first one like it was the early access was like 3.5 years.
yes, it was. It was a long time. But I think so. I want to touch on this briefly. Visually, this looks amazing. Like
Oh yeah,
the foliage is like the fauna. That is some seriously good looking shit. Also, some of the character models look amazing too. Especially, I think some of the cannibals, some of the NPCs that kind of roam around. That the what was her name is Virginia. She just kind of randomly runs around and just shows up at the camp and scares Chris. It's so funny how like he just kind of like he's like, what is that? Like, why are you just in a bathing suit running around? And she had like 3 legs. I just think that like the you know for $30, I'm getting a substantial amount of content. Now, outside the quality of life features that are absent currently, are there any other things that you wish were there, or do you have any real complaints about the game?
complaints or I don't think. I mean, I really haven't played enough. I'm sure I can find something, that I'm just not, crazy about. I Once again, it might have been where we were just located, but I felt like they were very aggressive and in large numbers very quickly. Like literally within 30 minutes, there, we had 5 or 6 people every few minutes into our camp.
Okay, I mean, it might have just been the location. It looks like the map's pretty large too. Looks like it's
Yeah.
pretty substantial. It might be a little
They
larger than the original forest.
So the devs said the map is about 4 times larger than the
Oh,
original,
that's
which also changes how you kind of approach the survival stuff, because the first map was kind of small enough where you could just build a hub and kind of traverse from there, right? You can kind of build centrally and then go to most of the locations without having to build anything else. Um, for the majority of the game. This one with the increase in size, it sounds like you have to build like outposts and kind of build yourself outward and kind of make a chain of
bases.
yeah.
I mean, that would make sense, right? I mean,
um
it seems like a game that you can get like a lot of content out of. Now, if you are new to the survival genre, would you recommend this game to somebody like
Absolutely. It's
myself?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So the forest is I've probably put more time into the forest than any other survival game.
mhm.
Maybe the one game that rivals that is Valheim.
Mhm.
But they're definitely two different beasts. They're both amazing. I both love both of them. So I do feel like this one will kind of not overshadow. Like I do think this is a good successor to the first one. There's I do like the expansion of weapons. It seems like the enemies have a little bit more variety to them as well. Just in not only in action but in like physical appearance and the weapons they use. Like I was actually watching a video of a guy I watch on YouTube, and there was like a larger cannibal dude, and he was using a like a boat motor as a weapon.
So
I'm
there's
like,
a
that's
lot to this, a lot of meat to this game. Yeah, I was just
yeah.
wondering because it's difficult to kind of sell the survival genre at times because there's a lot of, you know, a lot of things you have to manage all at once. You have to be, you have to manage your food, your water. Obviously, you have to be able to like create structures pretty quickly. You have to be able to create tools to defend yourself with. So, and it looks like with the forest, like because of how specific some of the structures have to be built, it just feels like, you know, this could not, this could be a game that may fluster or frustrate some people who are new to it. But I think the content itself, $30 for early access of Sons of the Forest, that's good shit. That's good content. You're getting a lot of bang for your buck. Um, and yeah, I think that, obviously watching your guys' footage, I was like, this is a good time. It's really fun. Like, we're going to finish this out with you guys throwing logs at a mutant.
Oh, dude. So I mean, I really do like just the freedom that these types of games give you. Just, you know, yeah, you can literally spend, not hours, but tens of hours just chopping down wood. Or you can go, hunt little animals and, and stockpiles, beef jerky or meat jerky. Or, you can go fishing, spear fishing, or, you can go just hunt cannibals and build, bone armor. I will say the one thing that this game, and it's really just the beginning. They give you a lot less materials to begin with. So the first one, you land your when you crash, you have like a full commercial plane to like loot for like pain meds and like sodas and candy bars. This one, you plane crash with a helicopter and you find material, but it's much less material and almost none of it is healing items. And the beginning of the game is very absent of anything that heals you.
Right.
And it's difficult because to create healing items, you have to find multiple wildlife or multiple like flora. There's like there's two different plants you have to find to create it like a healing item, and then you have to find another one if you want another healing item of any substantial. Like there's like a healing mix and then healing mix plus, and the healing mix only gives you like 30 health and the plus gives you like 80 or something.
Right.
But if you're not in an area where both of those spawn, you're just like really the only way to heal is to be at full hydration and at full hunger, or not non-hunger, and sleep. That's really the only way to regain health.
Okay. I mean, so far, but based off like conversations I've had with you and others and footage I've seen, I think with Sons of the Forest, one, it's a worthy successor. Two, it's easily worth $30. There's so much content there. And based off the information you're telling me, I think you have more positive things to say about Sons of the Forest than bad. So
Well, yeah, so I do believe all the things that I currently have to say negative about it, I feel like they are early access complaints, right? It's just like things that are not polished, things that are not.
well, what's crazy is that you only encountered like one real bug where you fell through the map. That was it.
And I was doing something kind of odd. I was trying to pick up a body out of water, and I fell in the water through the ground.
So you deserved it.
Yeah. I don't even know how that person died. There was just dead people in the water, and I was trying to fish them out.
Okay.
So there was also some issues with the building where we kept trying to build like a treehouse, and it just kept spontaneously breaking. And I don't know if it was something we were doing or if it was just like a weird like collision with from the structure to the tree or something. But just like half of it would just like explode, and logs would go everywhere. So it's like there are some nuances, and obviously with almost every just open world game, there's going to be glitches and bugs that are just little minor things that kind of irk me, but
yeah, just things you have to live with.
Yeah.
So recommendation, you're giving it a thumbs up.
I mean, 2 thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Ooh.
Especially if you have a friend to play it with, right?
Yes, so you can co-op with what, 8 people, right? I think.
Yeah,
that's insane. I wonder how cluttered that can be, or how it can get a little bit messy in terms of frame rates and stuff like that. How bad the drops would be, if glitches would be more prominent if there's 8 people in the server at the same time. I'm pretty sure with the Sons of the Forest, like the current success of this game, like I think it's what sold over 2 million copies already. Yeah, so it's widely popular.
I think it broke Steam the day that it dropped. I think Steam actually like broke for a few hours because of everyone trying to. I don't know if they were buying it or if they were trying to download it, but
all right. So with that being said, Brad, who has played Sons of the Forest alongside our buddy Chris, is giving it a 2 thumbs up. We're gonna call it like I would say not an insta buy. We'll just say buy. I think that's more apt.
Oh yeah.
So if you're listening, and if you're watching the footage on screen, and you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe. And myself and Brad will see you in Sons of the Forest. We will talk to you next time.